we're both under the agreement that this is not going to be a good movie.
Oh, no,
No.
not even a little bit. No. Now the question is it so bad that it's good, or is it so bad you want to scoop your eyeballs out?
Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared.
Damn!
And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
So we're going all the way back to November 1987.
Jiminy Crickets.
If you're watching TV in November 1987, you would be watching all new episodes of 21 Jump Street,
Love that show.
Married with Children, Murder, She Wrote.
Ooh, Murder, She Wrote.
The Wonderful World of Disney, MacGyver, 30-something, Moonlighting, Matlock, Megan P.I., St. Elsewhere, Highway to Heaven, Tour of Duty, Cheers, Knots Landing, Wise Guy, Dallas, and Beauty and the Beast. Finally, a role for that giant, weird-looking Ron Perlman.
Can I tell you?
I love
Ron
really
Perlman.
Good He's
television.
Awesome. Yeah,
Ron Perlman is amazing.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know. I didn't follow all those. I probably didn't follow any of those shows, but I did watch a lot of those.
There's a lot of really good classic television that you just named there. Matlock, Murder, She Wrote, Beauty and the Beast. I almost forgot about that one, but when you said it, I was like, holy shit. And I used to watch that religiously weekly. It was entirely too old for me.
Yeah.
But I was watching it. Same thing with Dallas.
Dallas. My parents' judgment. Now that one I remember following because it didn't matter what we were watching when Dallas came on. St. Elsewhere I found on Disney Plus, and just the opening is such a kickback to being a kid.
Yeah,
just hearing that opening. Same with Murder, She Wrote, New Hearts. There's ones that I remember watching a lot, and when you hear that opening, it's really cool. Now, some of the headlines around this time in 1987, November 2nd, George Harrison released an album, Cloud 9, and Paul McCartney released an album on that day as well, a best of called All the Best. November 5th, France performs nuclear tests, and if we to believe the Hollywood of the 90s, that leads to the creation of Godzilla. So thank you, France. Whether it be a giant lizard or a giant shitty movie about a lizard. Actually,
fucking France.
I went and saw it at theaters and watched Godzilla.
Really?
Actually, I went to IMAX and watched Godzilla. I like that movie. I remember liking that movie. November 5th, an iceberg twice the size of Rhode Island is sighted in the Antarctic. November 5th, Stephen Sondheim and James Lapin's fairy tale musical Into the Woods opens at Martin Beck Theater in New York City and runs for 764 performances, winning 2 Tony Awards and 5 Drama Desk Awards.
Into the Woods came out in 1987?
Yeah, I was pretty much shocked. November 8th, 11 are killed in an IRA bomb attack in somewhere in Northern Ireland. Van Gogh's Irises sells for a record then, actually, I don't know, $53.6 million at auction in 87.
Yeah. That's a lot.
November 13th, the first condom commercial is on British TV.
Shocking.
And November 13th, Sonny and Cher performed together for the final time singing I Got You, Babe on The Late Night with David Letterman.
Oh.
I also found this weird headline where a guy in England, Somerset, England, survived 7 suicide attempts. I don't know if they were all on the same day or the week. Like after
just
the
every
4th,
day he kept trying.
Yeah. But after the 4th, it'd be like, they probably had an idea what Kevin was doing up in his room. like a loud bump, and they're like, "I'll start the car."
Oh god.
But also in this week, the top music, "Causing a Commotion" by Madonna, "Moni Moni" by Billy Idol,
Nice.
"Little Lies" by Fleetwood Mac,
Love that song.
"Bad" by Michael Jackson,
Classic.
"It's a Sin" by the Pet Shop Boys. I love the Pet Shop Boys. I really did.
I listened to them a lot in
Yeah.
the late 80s.
"Heaven is a Place on Earth" by Belinda Carlisle.
Yep. Fantastic.
And U2, "Where the Streets Have No Name" was quickly climbing the chart, but the number one song the week of November 8th, I Think We're Alone Now by Tiffany.
One of my favorite songs of all time.
And it was infecting the eardrums of humans everywhere.
I think we're alone now.
Yeah, to the point of just humming the damn song out of the blue. See, you did that, and fucking later on tonight, I'll be in like the bathroom. I'll be like, I think I'm alone.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
That one and those two. There's probably a couple more too, but yeah, those songs, yeah, they're infectious.
There are some songs where literally I will find myself humming them, and all of my friends are like, "Are you humming?" And then they'll name the song, and I'm like, "Yeah." Why? I'm like, I don't know. It was in my brain.
You probably heard someone else humming it.
No, sometimes it's literally I wake up in the morning and I have a song in my head for no good goddamn reason.
But wasn't Tiffany one of those, like, one of many, I'm sure, but one of those young stars that had a couple of songs that were like beyond huge and then was like totally robbed and taken advantage of?
I don't think
wasn't that the music industry?
The music industry in general does that to every artist. And sometimes the parents of the artist go even further and completely deplete their money. I think Tiffany, I think it was her mom who kind of ripped her off a little bit. And then she kind of had to restart her life. But weirdly, she refound, like, she's always been playing music and she's always been like writing songs. Still to this day, she does it. She had a little bit of a resurgence with like kind of a jazzy feel, if I'm not wrong.
Actually, I think I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. She did a few interviews. It was all really great. But this was also from, as I like to call it, the mall tours.
Yes.
She was one of the mall tour artists, as was, I think, Debbie Gibson.
Yeah.
I think New Kids on the Block did a couple mall tours. And then it was the new boy bands and girls in the 90s. So like Britney did it.
Also, they just missed it.
Like there was a little like break. So it's like, yay, Debbie Gibson, Tiffany, woo. And then pause. And then somebody was like, yeah, go on tour at malls. And all the new artists were like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, we did this already. Didn't turn out well. And now we see where they all are.
And I believe Tiffany was the inspiration for, what is her name from How I Met Your Mother?
Oh, the one played by
Sparkles?
Yeah.
Where they find out she was a
pop star in Canada.
Pop star in Canada, and she did the mall tours and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, funny story. Tiffany dated Jonathan Knight from New Kids on the Block. And then they broke up. And then Jonathan announced that he was gay. And she was like, nope, had no idea for the first little bit. Started to question it later. But yeah, no, when we were dating, we were like really dating. And I was like, no. Mind you, Jonathan Knight never wanted to be famous. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. That's another podcast.
Yeah. What were the kids? And by kids, I mean, what was I playing? I was playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yes.
That was a great game. And
I played that a lot.
Yeah, and Mike Tyson was removed from the title in 1990, and the game was practically the same, except rather than Mike Tyson, at the end you face Mr. Dream, they just colored him white instead of black. And the reason before that apparently was that it wasn't anything to do about his boxing or his... They paid him something like $50,000 for his facial rights and his name. And then when that contract ended, he was a much bigger name. and they didn't want to pay what he wanted.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But I was also playing, what else was I playing? Mega Man, Contra, Double Dragon. 1987 was also a weird year for video games because a whole slew of movie video games started popping up. So you were getting like Goonies 2, Top Gun, Rambo, Jaws, Indiana Jones. And I don't remember them being great, like the Karate Kid. I remember them kind of sucking ass.
Yeah.
But on November 8th, 1987, Steel Dawn premiered. And on just 290 theaters, was able to premiere at number 17.
Number 17, you say?
Premiere. Horrible premiere.
Does not surprise me.
It wasn't unheard of for movies to premiere on even smaller amounts of theaters back then. Like you didn't have these 4,000 movies playing. Sometimes you had 80, sometimes a couple hundred. Big movies back then, I think, were 1,000. If you had 1,000 theaters, you were a big movie.
Well, they just didn't have that many theaters.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, this was not a blockbuster. This wasn't even a blip on the box office rate. It bombed. Like, just an example, the movie Cry Freedom with Kevin Kline and Denzel Washington, which I do not remember at all, but just with those two names makes me want to watch it, opened in 27 theaters and made more money than Steel Dawn.
Holy shit.
There were 16 movies that opened ahead of Steel Dawn, 7 of them making their premiere, just like Steel Dawn, like Hello Again with Shelley Long, Less Than Zero with our friend Andrew McCarthy.
Such a good movie.
Jamie Gertz, Robert Downey Jr., James Spader. Death Wish 4, Charles Bronson. Hiding Out with John Cryer. And movies like The Hidden, Like Father, Like Son with God favorite Kirk Cameron.
God favorite.
And probably not so God favorite Dudley Moore. He was in that. Princess Bride and Dirty Dancing with Patrick Stewart was still in theaters. Yeah. Suspect, Baby Boom, and the number one movie at the time was Fatal Attraction were all doing and would do better than Steel Dawn.
This bodes well.
Yeah. Oh, wait. It gets worse.
Oh, Jesus.
This was all stuff after we picked the movie.
Yeah.
It had a budget of $3.5 million, which
is pretty big.
Yeah, if you were a studio or producer at the time, you'd be like, "Holy shit!" Just with the Dirty Dancing coming out before, like Patrick Swayze.
Yeah,
like we're gonna make. They're probably like, we're gonna make so much money. It bowed out of theater with just over $560,000.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm not an expert, but I believe.
That's less than they spent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe studios back then licensed out their movies to networks and movie channels through deals. And it had, I think, did it not have a lot to do with box office popularity?
I'm
sure they had some, right? Like they had some deals with some studios, some of these, but I think to get the rights, like if you were Fatal Attraction, you were going to pay a lot more to get that movie on your channel.
Also, the length of time that you would have the movie on.
Yes.
So you pay by length of time of the contract and then how many airings. So for instance, a Fatal Attraction, you could probably sell, over 6 months, 30 airings across however many networks or 2 networks or 1 network, whatever. And that would cost you a pretty penny. And then for half that price, you could get Steel Dawn with like 200 airings over the course of 2 years.
Yeah.
Where they're like, no, really, you can just keep playing it. It's fine. And they're like, no, thank you. And you'd probably get that for half the price of like a Fatal Attraction. Yeah,
I think Steel Dawn was kind of lumped in with that. Well, if you get this movie, we'll throw in.
Honestly, yeah, probably. It was probably thrown into like a groupings where they're like, if you take these 2 movies, we'll throw in this one for free.
Yeah.
And then this would be the movie that they played at like 2:00 in the morning.
2:00 in the morning, yeah. Now, does that mean Steel Dawn was horrible? I remember liking it. Did you see this movie?
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, are you in for a treat?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm almost 100% sure that I have not seen it. I can let you know for sure once I actually watch it to see if anything seems familiar, but I'm like, I feel like I've seen it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Now, I did see this, not in theaters or anything. I don't think anyone saw this really in theaters. I saw it on satellite TV, and it was sometime way after November 8th, 1987. It was probably a couple years later. And I do remember liking it, and I do remember, like, I would watch it again. I remember saying that. But unfortunately, in the days of yore, if you did not plan on recording a movie ahead of time on a VHS tape,
yes,
or if your parents were idiots, a Betamax, you would most likely miss the entire opening, or you catch it halfway through, and thus you wouldn't be able to record it. And the movie played again on, I don't think young people understand that. It played on a certain channel, on a certain day, at a certain time, and you either knew that and could record it, or you stayed up and watch it. This was our struggle.
Yes, you needed to refer to your TV guide.
Yeah.
Which you either purchased or had a subscription to. And that was where you knew. Or if you were like us, you would buy, I think it was the Sunday edition of the Toronto Sun, and it had like a TV guide in it. And so you had to use that to find out whenever anything was playing.
Yeah. Now I had satellite TV, which means we had dozens of satellites, which means we had hundreds of channels. And it did have a TV guide, but it was the size of a phone book, but it was huge.
The kids these days, they don't know how easy they have it.
Yeah. Like that was our struggle. It was our pain.
Now you can just Google and be like, where can I watch this? And then the computer tells you. Back then, you literally had to bust out a book and go time slot by time slot on each and every day to see what was airing and if it was a new episode or not. Or if it was like the movie was airing, what channel was it on? And then what time? Is it going to be at 1:00 in the morning?
Now, you would have to go looking for it. I do remember this may have been, don't get me wrong, this might have been the beginning of Netflix. No. When I went to my grandparents, they had cable, and whatever movie channel, I don't know what it was called back then. It came with its own little TV guide, and it would have the name of the movie in it. Like it would have the regular TV listings, but it also had like a list of all the movies. If you wanted to watch Steel Dawn, not that I ever saw it there, but it would actually say what days and times it was on underneath this description.
So fancy. We never had movie channels.
Yeah, no, until we got satellite, it was 3 channels.
We had cable. We were very excited about it. But I mean, it wasn't.
We had cable. Yeah,
we had cable.
You didn't spring for the extra movie channel?
No, that was too much. Yeah. That was too much. No, we were mad basic with, so I had to rely on like midnight movies or the late night movies and that kind of stuff. I think we had access to TBS for a few years, and they usually had Friday night movies.
Yes.
So you could watch some like random stuff. But getting movies on TV was not as easy as it is
once
now.
We got satellite, we had access to HBO, Showtime, the USA Network, TBS, KTLA, Buffalo. It was magical.
We had, when my brother-in-law first moved up, we had a satellite for a while, and it was the greatest thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
I was so happy. I was like, look at all the channels, and they're airing good stuff.
Yeah, good movies,
really, really good
TV
stuff.
shows.
And then fucking satellite companies started like locking down, and they were like,
oh yeah,
they fucked us up, and then we couldn't get any of the signals, and I was like, you guys are a bunch of assholes.
Now, I don't believe I ever saw this movie again. I mean, I think I saw it the odd time at the video store, but this is one of those long list of movies from the 80s and 90s that I saw once, maybe twice, but it would have been caught it halfway through, or I missed 10 minutes of the beginning.
Yeah.
Or watched it close to the end of it. There were ones that,
I'm 98% sure that I've never seen this movie. And if I have, I remember nothing about it.
And I do remember, like, there were movies that were playing and that I did record on VHS. Like, that was our Netflix.
Yeah.
Like the 40 movies that you recorded, 3 to 3 to a tape.
Oh, 100%.
That just stretched the tape out and it made
Yeah,
it
yeah.
look
You
even
changed the record
shittier.
speed. Changed the record speed so you could get more content onto the tape.
Yeah.
Oh, those were the days.
But movies like Steel Dawn and like, I don't know, The Krull, The Warriors, The Gate. I don't know if you ever seen any of those.
Mm-hmm.
I saw them and I liked them, but because they weren't overly popular, they didn't play as often.
I think that's happened to a lot of us where we saw something on TV years ago. And because it was so niche or it was like just not popular and it wasn't that big, they never aired it again. And it never occurred to anybody to get the rights to it. So you're like, but this movie, I know this movie. And no, you can't find it anywhere. That's one of the things that drives me the most nuts about this.
Yeah, and I talked to a friend a while ago, and he brought up I don't know if you ever saw The Gate with not Steven Dorff, his brother, Brad Dorff, the younger one. Brad Dorff?
You mean no? I think you mean Steven Dorff.
Is Steven Dorff the younger one? Steven Dorff's the young one.
Yeah,
yeah, and he's a young kid in this movie, and it was a fantastic horror movie. It was.
I don't think I've seen this one.
And for the life of me, I cannot find it. I don't think anyone has the friggin' rights to it. So I'll probably have to buy it on Amazon. And it's old and it's not popular, which means I'm probably going to have to pay $40 for the Blu-ray.
Yeah. 100
for a movie that I remember.
I like that you think there is a Blu-ray of it. I love that you think there's a Blu-ray.
Yeah, a lot of the times they're not. DVD. I'll buy the DVD. Or go to eBay and find a VHS. Actually, I don't have a VHS player. I don't know why I would do that.
I used to have a TV with a VCR in it.
Oh, I remember those. But now we're watching Steel Dawn, Tale of the Tape. Let me bring up the poster. He is the desert warrior carving the future with his sword.
Oh my God, that's so cheesy.
But this is
Great poster.
Maybe I did see it more than once because I'm pretty sure if me and my friends saw this, we would have been all over it. So I think maybe I did see it more than once, but a couple times, and it definitely I was young and
yeah.
Now this is when it did go to 230 theaters. This is what people got to see. I think I like the other one VHS
better.
copy better. He is the desert warrior carving the future with his sword.
That doesn't even look like him.
No, it doesn't, does it? The one down here where he's kissing the girl or about to kiss the girl, it looks more like him. This might have been drawn.
But it still doesn't. You're not looking at it being like, yeah, it's Swayze.
No, it doesn't look like him at all. Okay, so we know the tagline. Okay, so this is... It took me forever to find the synopsis. I had to get a back copy of a VHS on eBay and then kind of zoom in before it got blurry.
Jeez.
It's not a well-known movie, I don't think. Mm-hmm. Okay, so again, bear with me. Like I said, in a post-apocalyptic world, a warrior wandering through the desert comes upon a group of settlers who are being menaced by the leader of a murderous gang who's after the water they control. So it's pretty standard.
Okay.
Lone warrior comes in and helps the village. Patrick Swayze, the sizzling hot star of the smash hit Dirty Dancing, stars for the first time with his wife, Lisa Nemi, from Slam Dance. I don't know what that is. And Emmy Award winner Anthony Zerba, TV's Harry O. I don't know that either. In this post-apocalyptic action adventure, they call him Nomad. A man without a home, without a past, a new breed of warrior trained in the arts of swordsmanship and hand-to-hand combat, roaming the vast desert wastelands in a post-nuclear age, in a time when laws are useless and water is more precious than blood. When Nomad's old friend and mentor is brutally slain by the notorious swordsman Sho, Nomad heads for the desolate valley of Meridian to avenge his death. There he meets the beautiful Kasha, one of the many farmers being terrorized by the sinister warlord Damnil. The desperate farmers appoint Nomad their peacemaker, charged with protecting them against Damnil's diabolical plot to control all the water in the valley. But as Nomad begins to help Kasha's farm, thwarting Damnil's carefully laid plans, he becomes the target of Damnil's savage army, face to face with bloodthirsty Sho, fighting for revenge, honor, and love. This reads like a fucking fifth grader's creative writing project. Oh my God, I can't wait to see this. But now it's for way different reasons.
Yes.
That is a horrible synopsis.
It's terrible.
Wow.
It's absolutely terrible. I love it, but it's terrible.
They use post-apocalyptic and post-nuclear and
there's a lot of posts.
There's a lot going on, and like it's just terrorize and his plot to control the water. And wow. Okay, so this is where it gets even better. So, according to Rotten Tomatoes, there is no critic score. Now they have 3 critics who have registered scores, but I don't know if they're like certified for Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
One of them gave it 3 out of 5.
Okay.
But the other 2 weren't as kind.
Oh, jeez.
And with just a little over 5,000 user ratings, it has an audience score of 33%. That's, yeah.
I mean, better than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Now, these type of movies, there were a lot more of them, I think, that people realize. Like in the 80s, they were very cheaply made.
Yes.
And some of them came from Spain and Italy and the States. But yeah, there were a ton of like Bronx Warriors and that type of stuff. But there were not a lot of, like, for every 100 of these, there was like one Mad Max or the Road Warrior type movie.
Yeah. There was a weird obsession with like post-apocalyptic dissolution of society in the 80s.
Yeah, and it wasn't, because it wasn't just like these Road Warrior type post-apocalyptic. It was a lot of wandering the vast desert after a post-apocalyptic. Yeah, the 80s had a ton of those, which was great. But I don't think there were a whole lot of them well made.
No, not at all. Not even, no. There was a very small percentage that were actually like super good. The rest, I was like, you really just like went out into the desert with a camera.
Yeah. I personally am not going to let that deter my expectations. That was deterred much earlier during this show. So, all right, we're going to watch the trailer. Or a choppy trailer. I always have, and after this, I have, when I edit it, I have to go back and insert an actual proper audio.
Yeah.
But at least okay, here we go.
Out of the ruins of a nuclear war, through a landscape of unearthly beauty and unknown terrors, and into a world struggling against the forces of nature and the forces of evil.
I am the authority in this valley.
A legend is born.
You shouldn't play with sharp objects.
The legend of a man with no name and no home.
You like being mysterious, don't you?
A warrior trained in the ancient art of combat.
A man needs his exercise.
A hero for a new civilization.
My father's did know. He was a commander.
I knew it.
He is all that stands between those who would rebuild and those who would destroy.
Cut the boy's throat.
This is his challenge. This is his triumph. Patrick Swayze is the soldier of destiny.
Do you feel safe now?
Yes.
Steel Dawn, the legend begins.
Wow. Wow.
I have so many thoughts.
Oh, I
Also,
can't wait
can
to
we
watch
just
this movie.
highlight that Swayze had a moose knuckle going?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know why we need an extreme close up of his crotch. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's for the ladies and guys.
It's
We
an
don't
equal
judge.
opportunity moose knuckle for everybody.
I recognize the old guy, the villain, and I think that was the Mummy.
I think it was too. Oh, Oded Fair. Oded?
Yeah. Because it really looked, I could be wrong. It could be.
No, it really looked like him. And I was like, is that him? Because I know he's a lot older than I always think he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he's 52 now.
So he would have been really young there.
Super good. Well, he would have let me see. We're gonna find this out because when I saw his face and I was like, holy crap, that totally looks like him.
That's what I mean. I'm like, that's the Mummy.
These are the things I need to know.
Oh, Brian James is in this. He plays a lot of villains.
Yes.
In like the original Blade Runner, Tango and Cash. I'm not seeing the Mummy.
No.
I could be wrong. Just looked like him.
Wait. Maybe.
Oh, Arnold Vosloo?
Yeah.
Is that the Mummy? That he is in it.
He is. Yeah. See, it was him.
It was him.
How
old would he have been?
Not very old because he's only 60 now.
Oh, born in 62. Oh, he would have been 25.
He would have been in his early 20s.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of 80s hair in that trailer.
Oh, yeah. I kept saying, I was like, I know that face. And then I was like, is that the Mummy? Like super young? These are the things I think about.
So what are your predictions?
I think this is going to be so terrible.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
It could be in the good way though.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm torn. I'm kind of leaning toward this is going to be so terrible. I may never want to see it again.
Yeah.
However, I hold out hope that it is so terrible that I feel like I need to create a drinking game for it and watch it on repeat.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I was thinking the same thing. It's going to be either, oh my God, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Or it's going to be like, oh my God, this is so bad. This is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's just going to be fun to watch because it's that bad.
It has great potential for both of those outcomes.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem because the trailer was so bad.
Yeah.
You're like, there's potential for both.
Yeah.
And you just don't know where it's going to go.
We're both under the agreement that this is not going to be a good movie.
Oh, no, not even a little bit. No. Now the question is it so bad that it's good or is it so bad you want to scoop your eyeballs out? Like these are our options.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping it's so bad it's good.
Yeah, I'm hoping that too. And yeah, you're right. It does look like it go both ways.
Honestly, right now, I'm leaning towards so bad scoop your eyeballs out. But I have hope for so bad.
Because just in that trailer, I'm like, it's 87. Where does your $3.5 million go?
Right?
Like, did you pay Patrick Swayze like $2?
I was like, where is, you know what? It all went into the hair. That's
yeah, there was some big 80s fucking hair in that
there were some choices, my friend. There were some choices made in this movie, and I don't know how I feel about them.
Well, that's his wife in that movie.
Yes, and I want to know where she found a crimper in a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Her hair, yeah.
Yeah, her hair was crimped, and I was like, is that really the futuristic post-apocalyptic thing, or is it just like greasy hair? Because apparently there's supposed to be limited water. And like, but everybody looks perfectly hydrated.
Is that what it said? They farmed water?
Apparently.
Or I was confused.
Or they have
the water that they farm with.
I guess.
Or are they water farmers?
I think they might be water farmers, i.e. they harvest the water from underground. This is all
awesome.
this could be absolutely. I really, really hope that at the end of this movie, I'm like, I need to share this with my friends so we can all enjoy the terribleness that it is. But I have a feeling that I will forever be a little traumatized by this movie.
Oh my God! Between the trailer and the VHS synopsis,
it doesn't bode well for it.
No,
but I'm excited to watch it because Patrick Swayze. But my question is, like, this is obviously because this came out in 1984, right?
87.
87?
No, this is after he's done some really good movies.
Well, he would have filmed this at the same time. So now I know he can act. Not super great, but he was a good actor. Could act.
Yeah.
So if like just from the scenes that I saw in this film or in the trailer, I was like, did he forget how to act?
It could have been one of those movies where they filmed like they could have done a few years ago, and then with
maybe
Dirty Dancing becoming really popular,
then they released it because they were like, we can make money.
Yeah,
but it was super terrible. This is all I'm getting from the trailer. So now I'm like, is it going to be worse in the entire movie?
And the dialogue because unfortunately with our viewing thing of the trailer, the dialogue that I did pick up, it wasn't stellar, even for 80 standards.
Right. So I'm really hoping this bodes well for creating a drinking game, but I have a feeling it might not.
It might not.
But we're going to watch it.
But we're going to watch it and find out.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat. And then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
Okay. So we have both watched the movie. So now we're going to go through the plot outline. And no matter where I went, there was not a lot to go on. And if you watch the movie, you could easily understand why. My initial thoughts, I'm sorry. I probably won't apologize very often for picking a movie, but I think this one might warrant an apology. It was
I accept your apology.
Bad.
It was terrible. It was so
and
terrible.
Not in a good way either. No. And like I was all ready to use this, like, and now it's like I don't even want to. Oh, hold on, wait. Now we're going live with
your technical difficulties.
Figures. I'll blame this on Steel Dawn too.
As you should, my friend. Everything is because of Steel Dawn. Everything bad in the world is because of Steel Dawn.
Your initial thoughts?
I literally, because the budget was $3.5 million. I was like, that's a waste of $3.5 million.
Yeah. Where'd it go?
I have no idea, because all I saw was sand, everybody wearing the exact same clothes, and like metal go-karts. I didn't understand it.
Yeah, I used the go-kart thing too. I actually called them that as well.
They look ridiculous and they drive slower than a kid on a tricycle. I was like, what? I don't understand.
That, when we go through it here, the go-karts are horrible. Horrible.
I still think this is a movie that everybody should watch at least once in their life. Just so that they know
to see it.
what just a really bad movie is. Like this is bad.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Steel Dawn.
Yeah. I was ready to use that because I thought it was going to be either A, awesome, or B, so bad it's good. And it was just so bad.
I had a small hope that it was going to be, an 80s kind of action movie.
Yeah.
But my God, I
it didn't even have that in it.
The action was it wasn't that good. Although I do appreciate Swayze with his acrobatics during his fight scenes. He did like a full somersault tuck thing. Yeah. I I was like, I appreciate you for that, but like, I feel bad because poor Swayze's not here to defend himself.
I don't think he would.
This entire movie was just shit.
Well, let's start with his name in the movie is Nomad, Patrick Swayze's character. A swordsman wanders through the desert in a post-World War III world. I don't know what the fuck he was doing standing on his head. It wasn't hiding him like at the beginning. I guess he was meditating.
First note is, why is he standing on his head?
Yeah, that's my first note. Like, what is he doing? The mutants still found him.
And he let them get so close. He just stayed on his head.
Yeah.
Stayed on his head. That's it. His backpack away from him, like 3 feet. He's like, I'm just going to stay here.
Did you see the blankets that the mutants were under when they were coming up? Like the sand would fall off the blanket.
Yeah.
And the one guy was having like a real hard time getting out from his blanket. And everything in it looked new. Like even the mutants, it looked like they had the right idea of designing it, but if they designed it with all new material and bedazzled it with those stud things.
So many studs.
Yeah. But didn't get it dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Like
everything was so clean. I'm like, this is supposed to be a water deprived post-apocalyptic world covered in sand.
Yeah.
But nobody's dusty. Nobody's dusty. Like, what?
And every weapon looks like new steel, like all shiny and
all shiny. And honestly, this is terrible. The designs of the weapons, I was like, that's very like Star Trek Klingon kind of feels.
Yeah, actually, yes. Now that you said that,
yes. So I was like,
what are they called? A Bathra.
Yes.
Something like that.
That's I don't know what the ceremonial daggers are called.
Klingon
they do
one.
have that's the two-handed fighting blade.
Right.
I watched a lot of Star Trek growing up, but I was watching it and I was like, it's not supposed to, like, there's a post-apocalyptic world. This is not, I don't understand why there are holes in the swords.
No.
Like, it's not functional.
No.
It's not. So I'm like, I don't understand. There's so much that I was just like, what? Actually, my second note was underground sand people, huh?
Yeah. Well, that turned out to be the one good thing. Like when you look back at it, like at least it was something. At least it was an action.
Yes. Also, Swayze's hair extension drove me nuts. His little French braid. I was like, what is that?
Yeah. But every time I was watching it, I kept thinking of like The Road with Viggo Mortensen. Like their clothes look like shit. They all look tired, and the weapons were whatever they could get their hands on type thing.
I can't even believe I'm about to say this. Waterworld did a better job of establishing the environment.
They looked grimy. They looked gross. They looked wet being in the water. Oh,
God bless.
Oh God, yeah, no, but but if I had to pick an apocalyptic place to live, I'd probably pick Still Dawn.
I mean, I hate sand, so this would be literally a living nightmare for me. I hate sand with a fiery passion. This is why my friends think I'm super weird, because I don't like going to the beach unless it's like a rocky beach, because I'm like, I love the ocean. I hate sand.
Yeah, but if you're in Still Dawn, it doesn't get on you.
You apparently not. It doesn't stick to you. It doesn't get in your clothes. You're totally fine all the time.
Now, whoever worked on
in the sand, and you're fine.
Yeah, and you still don't get dirty.
Yeah.
Whoever worked on the costumes, makeup, and hair definitely worked on a Motley Crue music videos, like all of
100%.
them. Yeah,
and
really, they did not change that formula.
Motley Crue music videos, but also professional wrestling, because Tark, who we're going to meet eventually in this lovely movie, all I kept thinking was, isn't he a professional wrestler?
No.
Like 1980s WWF. But then I realized he's just reminding me of Hulk Hogan.
He absolutely does, with the goatee
with the facial hair, and the
even
super blonde hair.
The blonde hair and his voice, like,
yes,
definitely gives you a WWF 80s WWF
yes
vibe. Yeah, because right now this jumps right from what I just said to I had the feeling he searches for his mentor's killer, so it missed everything.
It
So
missed the
I just
fight.
had to, yeah.
It
It
missed,
was really only like a paragraph and a half of the
yeah.
entire plot. That's the
Well,
best I could come up with. So I
to
had to
be
kind of do it.
perfectly honest, this movie, yes, while in theory has a plot, it's very thin. It is a
Yeah.
very, very thin plot.
And
There,
very familiar.
yes, but also there's like zero character development. There's, I know it's supposed to be a hero story, but I'm like, this is not. One of the notes I was like, is the lack of dialogue, energy, and action meant to convey the direness of this world? Because it's not working.
Yeah.
It just was all flat.
No, yeah. I did have hope. Like the mutant thing was, they didn't look very mutiny because they were covered in all clothes.
Yeah.
Brand new clothes. But there was a bit of action, and then he was walking through the day after he got his backpack back. That big ship that was just laying in the desert, that was kind of cool. So then his mentor sneaks up on him as he's heading through the rocks there, the tavern, the fight that sets up the revenge.
Yes, after he's been poisoned.
Yeah, which was not very good.
No.
Like, it was a very close up battle.
Yeah, although I will say the blade in the knee from the villain,
that was
very
kind of
creative.
Cool.
I was like, that's good. I like that.
But a master of that caliber, you think you'd see that one coming, because he was taken out pretty easily.
Yes, and he's supposed to be, I think he was talking about being a peacekeeper.
Yes.
So he's basically supposed to be a cop.
Yeah.
Who's supposed to fight off the bad guys at different settlements. I'm like, sir, I don't think you're very good at your job.
No. So that he was killed by Sho, who is a hired assassin.
Also, can I point out, his voice drove me nuts. His accent.
His British accent.
His very clipped British accent. I was like, where are you supposed to be from? I'm so confused.
Yeah. The funeral sets his mentor on fire and burns him. I don't know why he took the necklace off his neck and then 2 seconds later just threw it on his feet in the fire.
I guarantee you the director probably sat there and said, we need some more drama.
Yeah.
Take the necklace and put it at his feet. Like, throw it in there.
Look at it and
have a moment and then just toss it into the fire.
Oh God. Then he keeps traveling through the desert. No sunburn, no chapped lips.
Nope. Hair is still looking very fluffy.
Yep. And he didn't look like he was carrying any water. I guess it might have been in his backpack. I don't know. He finds that half snake, then the rest of the snake attached to the dude. I don't know if that guy was part of the people that were, or if it was just some random guy in the desert.
I feel like it was some random guy in the desert.
Random guy, yeah. Then he meets the dog, who also sneaks up on him. And for a desert warrior carving out the future with a sword, he's getting snuck up on a lot. First his mentor, then the dog.
Oh my God.
Still looks great.
Yep.
The desert was no problem for Nomad, barely an inconvenience. Even the dead dude didn't look that bad, other than he got bit by that pesky snake.
Yep.
He makes it to the water farm and gets a job.
And that's the first time you see him have chapped lips.
Yes. Yeah.
And they weren't even that chapped.
Because he asked for some water.
Yes. They had to really point out that he was thirsty and hadn't had water in a while.
Yeah. He goes into town, like he gets a job and he's doing some stuff there. Nothing really happening. He goes into town. Some magic guy is talking because because they go that night. And the magic guy, I wrote down the magic guy. It sounded like he was talking out of a speaker, like it was being broadcast, but there was no microphone in front of him. Maybe it was the acoustics of the desert. I'm not an expert. Then Daniel shows up. Daniel. And to show how tough he is, because the farm, the girl who owns the farm says that they are getting a protector. Patrick Swayze, Nomad, doesn't tell them that protector's dead. He ain't coming. Lets them all think that this guy's still coming.
I was waiting. I was like,
I thought he was going to say,
he's dead.
Him.
I thought so too. I was like, that would make this movie interesting. But no, he wants to say a farmer.
Yeah. And
that he's not very good at doing, but whatever. It's fine.
Maybe they didn't want to kill their hope. So Daniel obviously knows that the protector is, the peacekeeper is dead. And to show how tough he is, there's no violence. He basically just kicks over their barbecue and it just fades to black. Like nothing overly bad.
That's the great threat. Kicking a fire over into the sand, which puts out the fire. I'm like, come on, guys, really? That's your big, like, I'm in charge now, like, move? That's your power move?
That was his power move. See if you can have
which
your
is
burgers
why I was
now,
not...
you fuckers. Throws the barbecue over.
No chicken for you.
I thought like there'd be some pillaging and some slapping people around.
A little bit of roughhousing would have gone a long way in this moment. But no, he's all like, I kick your fire. And that's it. And I'm like, what? But everybody's like, ooh. And I'm like, he kicked a fire.
The next day they go back into town and it's so obvious the way they're dressed. Like the bad guys are actually all in black.
Yes.
And everyone else is in white or khaki or brown. Yeah. I mean, in a post World War III apocalypse, you'd think you wouldn't be able to be that specific and picky with the clothing you wear. And there's my note. They're driving these horrible desert go-karts.
Those go-karts are the bane of my existence. I fucking hated them so much.
Well, they don't look like they were built for driving through the sand or over dunes or anything like that. They look like they would suck in the desert.
They literally looked like they were made out of aluminum foil. I was like, what? I'm pretty sure, look, grade 9. No, it wasn't grade 9. It was grade 8, shop class. You use that like thin metal to make a box or whatever, and you weld it and whatever. That's what it looks like it was made out of.
And they made that when you get a saw, that that sound.
What was with the little things on the end that were up in the air?
Yeah, they moved them around and made them go a little quicker, I guess. I don't know.
No,
I would have loved to be at this pitch meeting. Because I'm sure what they pitched to the movie company, the production studio, is not what that production studio saw.
God, I hope not.
They got pitched like a new Mad Max movie, and they saw this.
Look,
thing.
if they got pitched what we actually saw, somebody find those executives and take them out back and shoot them, because I'm like, what? Who decided this would be a good idea? But anyways.
So they're at the market, and Tark gets jumped, and Nomad steps in and kicks a little ass.
Yep.
Some guys dressed him later, and then later that night, they go through his bag. The girl, the main farmer,
because they want to know who he is.
Yeah, and then they steal his sword
because because they were like, he must have stolen it.
Yeah,
because that's the only explanation, not that he also fought in the war.
Yeah.
And I think it's before that there's a conversation that he has with the kid. I don't know if I think it's right before that. He has a conversation with the kid where he basically tells the kid that he knows his father, or he knew his father. He knew his father because he was in the war. And then I was sitting there and I was like, and what, the kid just keeps that information to himself, doesn't tell his mom?
Yeah, hey, especially that he knew his dad. That'd be the first thing that guy knows my dad.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he said, asked him, will you teach me to fight? And he said, if you can stand on your head like I can, I'll teach you.
That's the first step. And then he draws that little that angle thing with the little 3 circles. He's like, put your head there and your hands there. And as soon as you can hold it, then you can learn how to fight.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay.
So now some guys dressed in black go to the farm to sabotage it. And then Nomad wakes up and kicks their ass and hangs them up on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's good enough for her. And she tells Nomad the farm's secrets.
Yep, that's all it took. That's all it took.
Could she be any more horny?
Also, she's supposed to be with Tark, right? Like Tark's like, I protect her. I protect her,
but maybe it was more of a fatherly.
No, I think it was definitely this is my family kind of vibe.
Okay.
Because then all of a sudden, and I'm sitting there and I was like, okay, you might think that, but does Kasha know that? Because she doesn't waste a second.
No.
The minute Nomad starts kicking ass at the farm, she's all like, you're my favorite person now. Let's go play cards.
And it is Patrick Swayze.
I mean, true. I'm not saying no to a young Patrick Swayze. Shit, I wouldn't say no to an old Patrick Swayze.
Oh. Where are we here? Okay, so and she tells him that only her, Tark, and now him know about the water. So she brings him down to that big cavern. Like she didn't even let those two other morons know.
Can we talk about how stupid all of the like secondary characters are?
Oh yeah. Like
they're just. I was like, really? You're just gonna paint it that like only a dozen people in this world are smart?
Yeah,
and everybody else is just a raging moron.
A simpleton.
Yeah.
Come on, literally. Simpletons. Let's farm water. Okay. And then Nomad asks if it's pure water. The fuck did he think it was coming out of the?
No, apparently they have to do like a treated water thing.
Oh, okay.
Like for the water that they drink above ground.
Yeah.
It's they have to treat it first.
Yeah.
But
well, she did say this comes from the ground. And I mean, you are underground. It is coming from the ground.
Yeah. And she's like, it's a never ending source. And I was like, yeah. So you found a natural spring. Good for you.
Yeah. It's about this time where I'm now looking up and the ceiling going, why God, why did I?
Oh my God. Do you know what I just realized?
Movie.
I literally put, so why are there so many village idiots in this movie? I also wrote, by the firelight in the water grotto, love begins. That was where she was like, me and you, babe, me and you.
Yeah, because she laid it all out there. He rustled a couple of guys, and she gave all the plans were laid out. So now then he's taking a bath. So like he's making himself at home. She gave him secrets. He's now taking, I don't know how he got all that water in the middle of nowhere. Like how many trips he had to make.
Also, that's a teeny tiny tub.
Yeah.
I was like, you're really like stuffed in there, my guy. Like that's small.
And he's taking a bath, like what looks to be like the only road leading to the farm. And surprise, surprise, the bad guys get the drop on him.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
And then the Damnil gives him an ultimatum to come work for him. And then Nomad is like, I'm sure you'll make it worth my while. And then Damnil says, work with me and nobody gets hurt. And hold on, work with me, nobody gets hurt. Turn me down. A lot of people get hurt. Who wrote this? Like, this is horrible, horrible stuff. Like, it's so bad.
One of my notes, acting is so bad. Writing is so bad. Like, and every line, no matter how like charged it's supposed to be, angry, threatening, or even happy, everything is so monotone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't understand. Did everybody lose emotions in the future?
Yeah. I don't know.
God.
Then they build the windmill.
Yes.
It looks brand spanking new and shiny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tark and the two idiots get drunk.
Correct.
Kasha tucks her kid to bed. And she's wearing like this nightgown, like for Apocalypse. It wasn't that bad looking.
It was very snazzy. The material looks soft.
Then she sneaks up on Nomad, who is meditating, standing on his fucking head again. He might. It's like he was on the set and he was like, "Look what I can do," and the director's like, "Oh my god, we have to put that in the movie as much as fucking possible."
I'm sure
He's on his head a lot.
He really is. I think it literally that might have been what happened. And they were like, we're gonna rework some stuff and we're gonna make him stand on his head all the time.
So he gets up and starts smooth talking her, like saying stuff like, "You're up late." I thought he was gonna say, "I didn't hear you coming." The amount of times people and animals have gotten the drop on him is astounding. Like how he made it this far in the fucking apocalypse, I do not know.
How he survived a war.
Yeah, not just a war.
Man was a soldier.
He led.
Yeah, he literally like
he was a leader.
He was a leader. He fought in the war. Like he was he was celebrated as a leader.
Yeah.
Like he did good. How? I don't understand.
Oh God. Yeah, because they had this like weird bedroom talk foreplay thing going on where she's like talking about the windmill or the mill, and she's like, "Do you think it will hold?" And he's like, "Yes." "You don't think the tubing is too tight?" And I'm waiting for Patrick Swayze to whip out his meat sword and I don't know. At this point, I'm hoping for something.
Honestly,
something to happen.
Once they started getting down, I was like, was that the seduction?
Yeah. You think the tubing is too tight? I wrote that down. "Do you think it will hold?" "Yes." "You don't think the tubing is right?" And then he just hops on her.
Wait, I think there was a massage in there.
Oh, yes, maybe. Something. Yeah.
Maybe his back or his neck oh no, wait, that was after the sex. After the sex, she massages his neck.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it was after. Because while they're doing it, it looks like more people are sneaking up on them in the background. Because she asked, "Do you wonder what people were like before the sandstorm?" And he's like, "Meh."
He's a philosopher, that one. He's a philosopher.
Then she bosses him around a bit. Then they get romantic again. And because then they start insulting each other before they start, like their pillow talk's very passive aggressive. Then they get back to the farm and the mill's destroyed. They weren't that far from the fucking camp.
No.
Like you could have threw a rock from where they were on that blanket and hit the fucking mill.
But also, why were they outside of the camp on that fucking blanket?
Yeah.
You're telling me you can't hold it in your pants for like 2 minutes while you make it over to a tent?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, their rooms were right there.
You could spit on where they were, their sleeping quarters. Spit at it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just go. Anyways.
The two morons, the mill was just outside their door, the two guys.
Yep.
And that was some really heavy machinery.
Uh-huh.
That would have made a lot of noise.
Correct.
Like, correct. Do that quietly.
That is not a stealth. Destroying that was not a stealth job. Like,
no,
people would have heard something, especially because they're sleeping in tents, like cloth sides. There's no insulation. There are no walls.
No.
But we've already established that this movie has no logic.
No. So Nomad and Torque go to get even at Daniel's ranch, or whatever it is where Daniel is. Torque says might be like 5 miles away. They would have heard the fucking mill being destroyed at Daniel's farm or whatever, 5 miles down the road.
You would hope so.
Now they get to Daniel's farm. That looks like that's the place to work. There was booze and boobies. Like that's where I go. It was a party. Yeah, it was a party. The other farm, you got Patrick Swayze's wife. Yeah, she seems mean.
She's lived a
And
hard life, and it takes
yeah,
a
and you
long
know
time to crimp her hair.
her bar is set really high. Old Tark and the two simpletons didn't have a chance. And Tark just staring at the girls. Looks like he was about to sign up too. But yeah, Daniel's got booze and broads and those desert go-karts. And it looks like he was building I don't know what he was building with all that scaffolding, like a roller coaster or something. I don't know.
I think that might have just been his office.
Yeah.
Or his room.
But he was upgrading.
Well, why no stairs? Because you see people climbing up the scaffolding to get up there, and I'm like, guys.
Yeah.
Do it. Why? I have a lot of whys for this movie. I don't understand.
So they knock out 3 guys. Old Tark looked like he had some pent up aggression because he was hitting them a lot. Took Nomad 1 punch for each guy. Tark hit him like his guy 20 times. And he has a good 50 pounds on everybody. So they're getting the pump and avoiding the spotlight. So they have electricity there.
Yes.
So we know there's a Target or a Walmart around there somewhere. There's brand new post-apocalyptic wear. There's electricity and lights. Where are the guns?
If anything is going to survive the apocalypse, it's Walmart.
Yeah, it'd be Walmart.
It would be. As for the guns, I don't know, because everybody's using swords. And I'm like, guns already existed when this movie was made.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Even
why
a 4-wheeler.
Right?
Yeah. Not a lot
They
of
should
thought
be
went into the
ATVing
script.
across the desert.
Yes. Yes. With, 4-wheelers and dirt bikes.
Yeah.
So they steal the generator or pump, put it on a wagon. The bad guys take off on that wagon. Tark is hiding underneath the carriage. The bad guys are drinking and driving while driving a horse with attached to the wagon. What happened? Oh, Nomad jumps on.
Yes.
Throws the guys off. And then him and Tark get back to the
yes,
and plan made no sense because they didn't kill the guys. They just threw them off. So they're obviously going to tell Danielle who did it.
Correct. They don't know the rules.
No.
They don't know the rules.
Then Nomad gets all the credit and Tark seems really upset. Like really upset.
Yes.
So he takes off. Tark.
Can I tell you, Tark taking off in the middle of the night was the first time in this movie I actually cared about anything.
Tark's feelings?
I cared about Tark's feelings. I was like, no, Tark, don't go.
Poor
go.
Tark.
She's a hoe, and you did good too, and it's okay. And, you hear Nomad a couple times being like, Tark was there. Tark helped me. And then he just gets taken away by the people celebrating him.
Yeah. Nomad goes and with the kid, Jax. Is it Jax?
Jux.
Kid? Jux.
Jux.
And Jux goes to buy some sort of candy, and Nomad goes to the bar to get Tark.
Yes. Tark is having a pity party.
Yeah, and and then the worst bar brawl I have ever seen takes place. It was horrible. Just horrible.
Every fight scene
just so bad.
Literally is so bad. Like you can see them waiting for the person, whoever they're fighting, to take their next step. Like there's no fluidity to the fights. It's just kind of like, I throw a punch. Now I wait and you throw a punch. And I'm like, God damn it. Oh, you're going to roundhouse kick me? Okay, let me get into position. Like,
so show, that's the guy's name, shows up. That sounded weird. Having a guy who looks like Nikki Sixx and sounds like a Shakespearean trained actor. It was very jarring.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
It's super weird.
And almost as jarring as the double who obviously did all the fighting for that show character. Because it was not the same guy. And you could tell. Okay, so where are they in the movie? Nomad gets jumped and then Tark comes to help him and gets stabbed and dies, making the most incompetent gesture or heroic gesture I've ever seen. Like, it was just really bad.
It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And they fight Nomad, knock him out, and then he pretty much lays down next to Tark.
Yes.
While Tark dies.
Yeah.
And I have a moment where I'm like, I swear it looked like Nomad was reaching for Tark's hands to like hold it. And I was like, I didn't know y'all were that close.
And not one moron in that village helped. Didn't apply pressure to the wound.
Nope. Everybody just watched it happen. And they were like, oh, look, he's dying. Okay.
And I forgot, there is a doctor there at the beginning. He comes in that stupid fucking, I forgot all about that little carriage thing with the one wheel.
Right.
And he's a doctor. And those 4 guys are pushing him. You know, you would only need 1 or 2 guys if he had 2 wheels. But yeah, so no one goes to get him and Tark dies.
Jesus.
Nomad makes it back to the farm. Cash is blaming herself. He's blaming himself. I'm blaming myself for picking this fucking movie. The dialogue is horrific. Like, the whole thing is horrid. But him convincing her he has to go and rescue her son, like, that whole scene was really bad, like 70s daytime soap opera bad.
Okay,
she is not a good actor at all.
First of all, nobody in this movie is a good actor. Period.
No, that's true. That's fair.
Secondly, I actually made a note, and it's funny that you said it was like a soap opera, because I was like, the music is very soap opera-esque.
Yes.
So for all the scenes, I was like, is this where Victor Kiriakis comes in and tells us his dastardly plan for the Bradys? Like, I don't understand.
I half expected Danielle to twirl his fucking mustache. At least that would have gave him some character. Because I do remember that guy from other things. So he's not incompetent.
Here's the thing. A lot of the people in this movie are very, very good actors. Like, actually good actors. None of that is shown in this movie.
Nope.
There's like the occasional like glimpse of it for half a second, but then it disappears and you're like, that must have been a mirage. That didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So she's like, okay, if you must go, but you like need your sword back. And she opens the door to the downstairs water depot. And it's just hanging there.
Yeah.
Like, how did he not see that? Like, he's been down there a couple times. It's just hanging right there.
Why has he not noticed that his sword is gone?
Yeah, that's a good question.
His sword has been missing for like 3 days.
He didn't even question her when she said, "You'll need your sword." Like, well, why the fuck do you have it?
No.
Going through my shit?
He's like, oh, good, thanks. I'm gonna go pick it up now from your little domain. This will be great.
So she locks him up so she can go take care of this whole thing. Lassie shows up to the farm to give Patrick Swayze the moral support he needs to bust through that giant steel log with barely a struggle. Just another minor inconvenience for Nomad. Kasha goes to take care of it herself, and just a typical chick fucks it all up. No,
I was about to say, don't make me punch you in the throat.
No, but typical Kasha.
Typical Kasha.
Typical Kasha, yeah.
Yeah. Typical Kasha. I'll give you that 100%. Because she's not so smart.
No, not at all. I'm surprised. How did she run this farm?
Right? I think Tark was doing more than he let on.
Yeah, Tark was, yeah. Now that he's gone, the whole thing's going to go to shit. She does get the drop on Danielle and then tells them to let her son go.
Mm.
And after blabbing the whole location of the water and gave the exact location of where to get there.
Yep.
Like not holding any leverage back for herself.
Why would she? None of that makes sense. Why would she try to ensure her safety? That's ridiculous.
then tells her son to run like he's Forrest Gump all the way to town. Like, what the fuck is he going to do? Like, they'll still get him.
Hey, man, when a little kid runs, that's through sand, all the way to town, when they have those desert go-karts. Like, come on, guys.
But I'm like, no one helped Tark when he got jumped and then stabbed.
No.
Or the kid got slapped around at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what the hell are they going to do?
They're going to watch him. That's what they're going to do. They're going to look at him.
Watch him get killed. Now, at least the kid had some brains and hopped in a sand go-kart.
I'll give him that.
That was one of the slowest getaways I've ever seen.
Honestly, when he started moving, I was like, you'd be faster on foot.
How many cuts were there? How many cuts were there when the bad guys moved too quickly and the director, no, cut, no, slower. No, cut, slower.
I'm still convinced those go-karts are like Flintstone cars. Like they were just using their feet to push them forward. I'm
either that or like bike pedals or something.
Yep.
Now Kasha loses the upper hand. Surprise, surprise.
I'm shocked.
Because I was going to ask you, I have this note here. I just saw it. Like, did you understand how they work? Like the actual mechanics behind the desert go-karts?
No.
My thing was the things behind that made the weird saw noise.
It makes no fucking sense. Because if anything, those things reduce the aerodynamicy. Is that even a word? That makes it less aerodynamic.
Yes.
Like there's no reason for them.
Yeah.
They're not sails. They're not catching wind.
No, even if they had a sail or just something that resembled that would have at least made sense.
They're just wobbly pieces of metal at the end of a go-kart.
So we didn't know how they worked. This kid didn't know how they worked because he sucked at it because he flipped his fucking sand cart going 3 miles an hour. He flipped it pretty good for going really slow.
Yeah.
But it looked like if he didn't fall, because he takes off running and he falls. I don't know what, he trips over something. And it looked like if he didn't fall and trip, he might have outrun the go-karts.
He probably would have.
That would have been funny. They just couldn't get him because he was running. Then Nomad walked, not ran, mind you, walked to the kid's rescue.
He strolled.
Yeah. Like, he's lucky they didn't kill the kid because Swayze was taking a sweet ass time. So the mummy, I don't know his name, the guy who plays the mummy, takes the kid. Lassie chases off the other henchman. And Nomad hops in the other go-kart and gives chase.
Mm-hmm.
I am so glad there is no director's cut of this movie. This scene would have taken like 30 minutes.
Oh, God.
And then when they were playing chicken, Nomad's cart rammed into the mummy's cart, and they both just stopped. They didn't crash. They didn't flip. They didn't even make a sound. They made like a kind of boop, and they just stopped.
That was what I called the jousting in the metal go-kart scene.
Yes.
They were jousting. I was like, are they really about to joust? Oh my God, they are. Oh, okay. Yep. That's what we're doing.
And they were going so slow. How the mummy didn't see that spear thing coming at him, I will never know. Okay, so then Nomad and Show have their final battle. Now, you could tell that Swayze... Am I missing something here? Because he tells the kid to go, and he's going to get his mom, Kasha.
Yeah.
And you could tell that Swayze and the other guy's body double actually rehearsed this final battle at the beginning.
Yes.
And what started as a half-decent sword fight got worse and worse as the battle went on.
Then it just looked like 2 4-year-olds playing at Pirates.
Yeah. Yeah. Even when Nomad ran Nikki Sixx through with that, like that, when he ran through with the sword, it looked horrible. Like he was actually went under his arm like you do when you're a kid. But that's what it actually looked like. So Nikki Sixx was defeated and dying, and everyone was like, "Oh no, no more Motley Crue."
Yeah. But also, can we talk
Danielle-
about how he died? Like his actual action of dying? He overacted it so much.
Oh God, yeah.
I was like, are
Yes.
you fucking kidding me? I was like, this is a little bit much, my friend. Like the faces,
Well-
the sounds, the slowly falling over. I was like, are you okay? We're doing that.
I did research a bit. That guy, the guy who played it, is classically trained in theater, which makes a lot of sense. The way he died.
No. They do better at dying in theater than
Oh,
that.
yes.
That's terrible. It was terrible.
To be fair, Nikki Sixx, no, I keep calling it, show didn't have a lot to work with here.
True. And I have a feeling the director must have told him, I'm going to need you to be more dramatic. And he's sitting there going, I don't know if I can be and still be believable. And the director's like, it's okay. We don't need believable.
Yeah, we'll fix it in editing.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Now, Danielle, in one last desperate, completely obvious attempt to win, which by now we knew was not going to work, gets a sword in the throat.
Of course.
And everyone's like, oh no, the roller coaster won't be finished. Yeah, it was really a cup half full, cup half kind of day for the bad guys. No, and all of that was like, I'm serious. It was just a paragraph of the plot I found on Wikipedia.
That's all there was.
Yeah.
Like there was no subplot. There was no love story, not a proper love story. They have sex.
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to infer there's a love story. But there's nothing. There's nothing.
Yeah, because at the end it says Nomad is victorious. It kills Danielle as well. The valley begins Cash's irrigation project. Nomad vows well to Cash and Jux. They watch as he walks into the desert.
Also, can I point out that when he's talking to Kasha for the final goodbye, he turns around, starts walking. There's no sunset. No sunset.
No. You
3 seconds later, 3 seconds later, all of a sudden, there's a very low sunset. And I'm like, that
was an afterthought.
That is not what happened. What? Where the fuck did that come from? I'm like, you would have seen the sunset behind him during that conversation. The warm reds and golds would have been in the sky already. But no, it's all bright, sunny midday. And then all of a sudden it's sunset. That angered me a lot.
I wrote my review, my final score. I'll read it. What can I say about such an atrocious movie? This was so bad. The acting was cardboard or just dialed in. Like everyone had something better to do. It started off with the mutants, as bad as they were, and then Nomad walking across the desert and the big ship all deteriorated in the middle of the desert. It really looked like it was going to be hopefully so bad it was good. And it was just bad. The plot was pretty standard, which was fine, but the dialogue, acting, wardrobe, it was all so bad. Nomad tells the kid if he can master standing on his head, which I still don't get, he would teach him to fight. He then leaves for what reason I don't know at the end of the movie. Maybe so there can be a sequel. Thank God there was not. The kid is like, you can't go. You have to teach me how to fight. And Swayze is like, you don't want to fight. You want to farm. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Everything that has happened to this point points to more fighting coming. Swayze's character actually tells her, Kasha, when she starts to build her city, more trouble will coming. Hordes will come. This movie made me so angry. Nothing flowed. Nothing made sense. The fighting sucked balls. The desert carts were no Mad Max. I think if Dirty Dancing didn't come out in the same year, this movie could have really hurt Patrick Swayze's career. It could have been in trouble. We wouldn't have gotten Roadhouse or Ghost or Next of Kin or Point Break, all of which I loved. But nothing about this movie was good. I will never watch it again, and you can't make me. I give this movie a 2. Appallingly horrible. This movie is an affront to all mankind. It may have had a couple of lines or scenes with a tinge of nostalgia, but my parents seriously should have had me tested. And that's the worst we can give a movie, because we now have if we give a movie 1, it's so bad it's good.
This movie hurt me to watch. It hurt. It actually hurt. I have never, ever wanted to turn off a movie so badly in my life.
I was just going to say that.
There's terrible pacing. The script is almost non-existent. It makes no goddamn sense. There's no story development. There's no character development. There's nothing. Like, even in some of the worst movies I've ever seen, they give you something. This movie there's literally one moment in the entire movie where I kinda care about someone. Kinda. But not even enough. Like, to really actually care. I'm just like, oh, that's too bad. Don't go dark. Overall, it's a shitty movie. Like, just shitty. And I don't understand why they made it. I also give it a 2 because it's shitty. And it's not fun to watch. It's not even mildly entertaining. It leaves you perplexed and just questioning why you turned it on.
Yes. Yeah. If we weren't doing it for this, I probably would. I would have turned it off.
Yes.
Let it be known, if anyone listens to this and hasn't seen this movie, the action is not even remotely, like, I'm talking Billy Banks. Who's that Highlander guy, the TV series? Lorenzo Lamas?
No, Lorenzo Lamas wasn't Highlander. The
TV show?
The TV show was another guy, Adrian something.
That's right. Well, that guy and Lorenzo Lamas, all their movies are better than this.
Billy Blanks does better.
Yes.
Billy Blanks. Mr. Thibault himself.
Yeah. Maybe not acting wise, but definitely action wise.
Honestly, though, some of the acting, I'm just like, poor Patrick Swayze. This is on his record for the rest of his legacy. I was about to say his life. I'm like, oops. But this is on his IMDb. Like, we should do him a courtesy and remove it and purge this movie from the world, because there is no facial expressions, no emotion in the voice, like nothing.
No.
And I've seen a lot of bad movies. This was just terrible.
So let's go. If we had to say something pro, nothing. Well, maybe Patrick Swayze learned to stand on his head.
Patrick Swayze in the bathtub. That's my pro.
Oh, okay. There you go. There's your pro.
That's my pro.
Cons, we could do a whole other podcast about the cons of this movie.
Everything else about this movie is a con.
If I had to pick one, it'd be a toss-up between shitty dialogue or shitty action or lack of action. I don't know.
It's the go-kart.
Oh, the go-karts. Yeah, that's a good one.
They fucked it all up.
Why we liked it originally, I don't know. I really don't.
I have the excuse that I had never seen it before.
Yeah, at least you have that excuse. I have seen it. Now, mind you, it was a long time ago. I said I loved it. Maybe there were not a lot of post-apocalyptic movies, and you took what you could get. But we talked about the 80s, and they did have a lot of apocalyptic
movies. The 80s really enjoyed the whole let's look into the future and see what it is. And
so,
this
I don't know.
Live up to it.
Now,
terrible.
If you liked it then, you're an idiot, period. And I know I'm calling myself an idiot, and I will accept that.
You're forgiven. You're forgiven for the. I was like, oh, I haven't seen it before. And you were like, God, I remember loving it when I was a kid. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. We'll give it a shot. I don't know why I haven't seen it, because I love a good 80s action movie. Those are the
Patrick Swayze, yeah.
And Patrick Swayze and post-apocalyptic world. I was like, this is hitting all the boxes. Yeah, let's do this. It was shit. It was super duper shit.
If you've never seen it, don't.
Well,
I mean, go watch it on Tubi. If we had to suffer through the movie, you might as well too.
I encourage everybody to watch it just to say that you can. Because that way, if someone ever asks you to watch it again, you could be like, no, it's okay. I've already seen it. I don't want to do it again.
Could this be rebooted or reimagined today? It wouldn't be hard.
With an excessive rewrite?
Yes.
Better acting, better costumes. I mean, the sets were okay because I mean, sand. How do you fuck that up?
And they found some locations where, like, the buildings and tents.
Yeah,
that part was usable.
That part was fine, reusable. Yeah. But everything else would need to be overhauled, including those fucking carts. Get a better go-kart.
Oh, just use a 4-wheeler or dirt bikes.
Right? God.
Like everyone loves Mad Max movies and Mad Fury Road and all that because for a reason. Don't try to reinvent it with your shitty fucking go-karts with pedals.
What is it? Your play school?
Yeah.
This is play school.
Like I said, a rewrite. Because I said when I was reading the synopsis that it sounded like a grade 5 kid's creative story. I think that same grade 5 student could write a better script.
Oh, 100%.
And I think if you gave a decent or even a half decent filmmaker that same budget, that $3.5 million, you could still make a better movie today.
Oh, 100%. Mind you, most of your budget wouldn't be going to film.
No.
If you film this digitally, that would open up a bunch of stuff, make it a nice indie, go out into the desert, some sand dunes.
Yeah.
You're cool. Buy some tents from like Bass Pro Shops and then return them after you use them. You're good.
Dirty up your costumes, for the love of God.
And the hair. Can we make the hair look like not just dry from like over processing it, but dry from like I've been in the sand all day?
I love how the 80s, this time period, 87, a lot of the movies just think that the hairstyle is going to stay the same.
I don't. Also, how does she find time to crimp her hair?
Yeah.
She's running a farm. She's busy. I don't understand how she's crimping her hair.
All right. Anything else you want to say about Steel Dawn?
No, I've said all I have to say.
Well, we thank everyone that watched it. Remember, we are not responsible if we review a movie and you do not agree with it. But I will say this. If you do watch this movie, you most likely will agree with us.
Yes. I think we can all establish that this was absolutely terrible. And there is not one person on earth who will ever sit there and go, Steel Dawn, quality filmmaking.
I don't know. You never know. I'm going to go on the internet and find a Steel Dawn fan club.
Apparently
and
it had
troll them.
Pretty decent reviews on like IMDb or something. Was it really? Is that just from your memories or have you watched it again recently?
Yeah, like me.
Yeah, like you.
No, I swear it's awesome.
It's awesome.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking,